Hello and welcome to another edition of Social Buzz Extra. You know how we do it on Social Buzz Extra? We bring you all of the trend and issue on social media. If it is buzzing on social media, then you know we are on it. And I am Ogochukwu Mobino. Today, you might want to be thinking, what exactly is happening on social media? I must tell you, when it comes to social media, there's always a lot happening on social media. That space never runs out of stories. But before we go further, to be part of this conversation, all you need to do is to join us on DSTV channel 365, or you can watch on Star Times channel 276. You can also make use of our social media platforms. It's on YouTube, it's Global TV NG. You can watch all live stream, including this particular program, Global TV NG, and be part of the conversation. You turn on your notification, be notified whenever we come your way, and also please subscribe to Global TV NG and drop your comments, share, and your likes. All right, let's move into the topic of the day properly. The first topic is an ex-user who has expressed concern over the Nigerian schools. An ex-user named SAESQ tweeted about his worries for Nigerian school. According to him, he narrated how a boy lost his dad during an externship, got to school and was puraling. NLS gave him multiple queries as expected, and he couldn't write the exam. All he needed was emotional support in school and not strict measures. These are things that the Nigerian law school should look into. Meanwhile, on social media, a user also have reacted to the post. And this one is coming from Leo da Silva. Leo reacted to the post by SAESQ. You know, he tried to reply SAESQ, and he says, Leo says, the day I started my final exam, this is Leo expressing what exactly happened during his final exams. He said, the day I started my final exams, I told my classmate that my dad just died that morning. He told my professor. Before the paper, my professor walked in, brought a form for me to fill, and told me to go home and grieve. I can come write my exam anytime. And he wrote the name of the school, Hertfordshire Uni. Wow, what a proud moment to be an alumni of that school. You can see, how he was able to say it. Before I'll drop my thoughts concerning this conversation, I would like us to go through social media. On social media, there's so many comments, but we picked a few for the sake of our time. The first comment from social media is coming from 10 over 10 autos, and 10 over 10 autos says the word mental health to most Nigerians is mere myth. They don't believe in it. You will hear some of the lecturers tell you how they suffered worse in their time and still wrote the exams and even made distinctions. Zero empathy or sympathy. All right. The next comment is coming from the Diary of a Pastor's Wife. And Diary of a Pastor's Wife says, summary of this post is, be kind. Everyone commenting on the post will have the opportunity to extend grace to someone else. Do it. Wickedness is not a flex. All right, I like the way she wrote wickedness is not a flex. The last comment on the story is coming from White Lion, and White Lion says, no sympathy, no empathy culture in Nigeria. That's why the country is upside down. This White Lion is really angry. All right, the whole story is, I think most Nigerian schools haven't still adopted this culture of, I won't call it empathy, but the culture of knowing that people are going through situations and could be given time to, relax and come back. Because if a child is not mentally safe, tell me how that child is going to pass the exams, how they can, relate to what you are teaching in class, how they can follow. And most times our lecturers do not even care to know these things. You are in charge. If you are a lecturer of any particular department, you should know that you are in charge of that child. You shouldn't say, oh, it's a university, everyone can take care of themselves. But please, let's look out for our students. This is to every lecturer out there. If you are watching me right now on Social Buzz Extra, please do extra put in the extra work to make sure that you take care of your children. Honestly, in Nigerian schools, in Nigerian university, if you say you are sick and it is during exam period, just know you have failed. In fact, tell yourself you are coming back. No, that's an F. It's a blatant F. Nobody's going to even ask you what happened to you. The next thing, maybe the students will just tell you, oh, sorry, your classmates, they'll tell you, oh, sorry, oh, we did not see you. What happened? That's for the ones who care. But some wouldn't even know that you were not there in the exam hall. Only what they know is that you failed. And the lecturer will tell you, oh, why did you not come? And even when you give your reasons, most times you just feel like you are lying. This thing is really very annoying, because I know I've been through a situation like this. Although I managed to come write that particular exam. I was so sick, but I knew that it was exam and there's nobody to write for you. Neither will they even answer you. Although I didn't try writing a letter to the school or to my department or to my lecturer to tell them I won't be around so time, but then the treatment they give you even won't let you want to talk to them. You can't even approach most students can't approach their lecturers, to be very honest. In Nigeria, it's more like the lecturer is a demigod. You can't reach out to them, you can't. And that's the way they have started it. They give you this impression that they cannot be reached. You cannot talk to them. I don't know. I think we should actually become a bit calm with students. And again, another reason I think that this thing happens in Nigeria like this is because most times students use the privilege given to them in a way that is not right. If you are given a privilege and you get it, and your lecturer says to you, oh, since you're not mentally stable, I think you should skip this particular exam. We'll reschedule you for another time, and you come write the exam alone. Just watch, that same student will do it again. This time around, they might just tell you, oh, I didn't lose my father. Since it was my father I used the last time. My grandmother right now is dead. I'm not stable and I need to go out. I need to stay some days out. Don't worry, I'll come back and write the exam. And before you know it, other students will start picking that habit. We always abuse things in Nigeria, and I think that is what we need to look into. We as humans need to look into things like that, because tell me, if one person who abuses that opportunity, when someone else comes up and this person is genuine, honestly, nobody's going to look out for that person. Nobody's even going to reason or listen to you anymore, because they just feel like you are also lying. What makes you feel like you are not lying? Why will I believe you? And all of that. So please, let the Nigerian University look into this and make sure there's provision for mental health. It is very important. The youth these days are really going into, they're all stressed mentally. So it's not easy to run through school with the economic hardship right now. They are calling you from home. Even when you call home will call you back. When I was in school, I was all calm. Nobody's calling me to tell me, oh, what's going on. So they'll only call me to say, what's going on in school? How are you coping and all of that? You need money, or is the money still available? Do you have food? Okay, take care of yourself. But this time around, they're calling you to tell you what's going on in the house and how the house is turning upside down and all of that. So it's really, really not easy. And for those who have lovers, they are going through stress, But please, let's look into it, okay? All right, the next topic is actress Zainab Balogun calls out IJGBs. So just in case you are wondering, what is IJGBs? IJGBs is I just got backs. This I just got back, that the ones you'll be seeing, all this Edu Brazil and co, that just got back from Japan, from Italy, from America, UK, to spend the Christmas with their loved ones in Nigeria. So actress Zainab Balogun has called them out over skyrocketing 30 December prices. So she feels like they are the ones skyrocketing all these things. It's because they are around. That's why all these things have been very, very expensive. She talked about she was talking about a conversation online that she said is really very, very heartbreaking that Nigerians who just jetted back home for December festivities, the famous IJGBs. In her Instagram video, she said she needed all the IJGBs doing Dirty December in Ghana, Nigeria, wherever, to step forward because local vendors are apparently dealing with them. seriously this season. According to her, this December inflation is something the returning crowd partly created. Really, do you think it is the I just got back that are causing this whole price increase? Because there's something I noticed during any festive period, things automatically skyrocket, and you'll be asking yourself what's going on. That's when you see travelers, you see when you go to garage, all these car parks, and you want to travel, you get to hear that they've inflated the prices of transportation, and you ask yourself, I've been traveling all this while, what exactly is different during December? Do we have goals on the street? And this is not just in December, this happened in all festive period, even Salah. Whenever it is towards any festive period, you get to hear that prices are increasing. Is it that they don't want people to enjoy? So I don't even think, to me, I don't feel like this is just, it's partly created by, I just got back, to be very honest. But let's listen to Zainab as she laments on that. Let's watch that video.
I need all the IJGBs currently doing Dirty December, Ghana, Nigeria, wherever, just come to the front. So I've heard that the local vendors are dealing with you people. Now here is why. Come with me to get $60 braids. Then we told you guys to stop creating content that reinforces the structural imbalance, the unfair exchange rate, the fact that you are receiving premium or good services for dirt cheap. We were telling you that for a reason. You open these people's eyes and you allow them to go to the full-on extreme of exploiting you. And I have now seen somebody who supposedly paid 800,000 naira for braids. Now I'm going to assume, it included the braids or the extensions, which were supposedly human hair infused. There were 4 of them and the total bill was 2.5. I'm so confused. You guys created this beast. You created this monster, because at the end of the day, locals are not going to pay that price. This is going to be a seasonal price that you are going to endure. Some African business owners operate on 2 mediums: light work and very extreme. Now, in this case, there's no medium. Now, as your big sister, next time you're getting a service done, you don't need to promote how cheap that.
All right, so that's Zainab there clearly
stating
about that these I just got back people, they are causing issue. How can you make your hair for $60 and you are here? I understand that in the abroad is very expensive, and that, don't you think it is dollar rate? Don't you think it's the exchange rate that is causing this whole thing? How can you just come here and be shouting? You're spoiling market for us, for we that have been here for a long time, and you're shouting, oh, $60 is very cheap, oh, $600 is very cheap to make your hair. Well, Zainab has made it clear she believes locals won't pay these prices. The inflation is strictly seasonal, and IJGBs will be the ones to chop it. To be very honest, the inflation is too much. Let's reduce it. I feel like just like I was talking earlier. Whenever they hear it is festive season, they just know that, oh, people will be coming from far and near, people will be coming from their abroad, they'll come and celebrate with their loved ones here in Nigeria. So let's just inflate the price so that it can suit the abroad people price. But then you're not even thinking about us, we the locals, who have been in Nigeria, who have been in these countries for a long time. You should think about your citizens first now before inflating for IJGBs. Because I remember there was one time my sister, actually, this is not my personal experience, my sister, she was taking her friend around. That's her husband's friend came with the family, and the wife, he married a black American though, so she has never been to Nigeria, so that was her first time in Nigeria, and they went out. So when they heard her accent, although she had her skin, the black skin, she's really beautiful, but when they heard her accent was different. This one is not, oh, I went abroad and then I adopted this accent. This one is the real American accent. You could hear the whole Negro thing inside of her. And someone, they went to get vegetables. Immediately, the person selling increased the price. My sister knows the price for the basket of that vegetable, but they increased the price because she was one who spoke. She was trying to interact, trying to get close to these people. And my sister immediately said, how can you inflate this price? It's not what I bought last week. What? And he said, no, it's because this is festive period. My sister said, no, this is not just because it's festive period. I think because you listened to our accent. Because they know. I think they get to know, these ones, okay, these ones are this and that. Come, but please, it's really not healthy for all of us because we are all going through things like this. Don't inflate it. It's going to be worse on the locals. All right, let's take comments from social media. And the first comment is coming from Adoni, and Adoni says, I visited Nigeria in April. A local vendor from Mushin charged me 90K, excluding taxi and food, for which I was cool with. Even though my friend said it was too much. I called her when I went back 3 months later. She charged 230,000 naira each, excluding tea fare, etc. I bluntly told her to forget about it. Yes, forget it. I think this one has learned her lesson. 90K the first time she said, oh, that one is small thing. Then the next one you want to come out, it's too much. All right, the second comment we are taking is from Call Me Success. And Success says, some people believe when it's expensive, it's classy and original. Hence, they like to patronize those expensive vendors. Waiting do Wuse markets. All right, so even in Wuse market, let's be very, very honest. To be very honest, in Wuse market, sometimes when you go to Wuse market, things are really very expensive. Anyways, Wuse market is a bit fair, but when you try to compare Wuse market, now I'm talking because I'm in Abuja. When you try to compare Wuse markets to some other markets in Abuja, you tell yourself, okay, I think Wuse is a bit expensive. Maybe because of where it is situated. Like, I don't want to call some other markets, but there are some markets that you go to and things are relatively like cheaper than Wuse market. Then if you want to be going to all these high market, you now go to Gariki where they will cut your neck at the end of the day. But then yes, Wuse market, their prices are fair and you are going to get good stuff, quality things for your money. All right, the third comment is coming from Fikuna Demi. And Fikun says, when people from abroad loudly brag about paying premium prices for stuff that used to be cheap, vendors quickly learn they can charge foreigners way more. The same braids that cost 50,000 naira last year now cost 800,000 naira because someone with dollars showed they were willing to pay. Locals still pay normal prices or go elsewhere, but IJGBs created the monster by flashing cash and content. Now everywhere feels the hike in December. Supply and demand is real, very, very real. Supply and demand is very, very real. I would like us to just go through briefly our last topic for the day, although we're running out of time, but let's just take it briefly and see what exactly is going on. And this one is from a foreigner living in Lagos who has shared her experience of living in Nigeria. A foreign lady living in Lagos has caused a stir online after listing the things that still surprise her about Nigeria, even after spending years in the country. I'd like us to take a look at that video and see and hear if she's correct about it or not. Let's take a look at the video.
Surprised me as a foreigner. People don't mind my head. Just watched. Number one is the banking system and how fast it is. I never actually realized how backwards we are in Europe because European Union is just forced European banks to do instant SEPA, while in Nigeria it's running for years. So if you do a bank transfer, the receiver will get it immediately, like seconds. And fintech companies here are really growing. It's a big market and I'm loving it. I think banking is really great in Nigeria. Number two is the fact that you can actually borrow data. If you run out of data and you don't have another source, you don't have Wi-Fi in the house, you don't have another source, you don't have to be going out and buying, credit, whatever. You can just borrow data and buy new data with the borrowed data, if it makes sense. Number three, I do not get sick. I do not get sick in Nigeria. When I was in Europe, I always was suffering with some seasonal flus, viruses, here and there, stomach virus, respiratory. In Nigeria, nothing, apart from malaria. Yeah, be careful for malaria, the foreigners. Number four, during the dry season, the plants can somehow retain water for a very long period of time, and they do not go as yellow as I'm used to, like in Europe. In Europe, when there's summer and it's very dry for a week or two, all the grass is completely yellow. But here, the plants, they are adjusted to the weather and they know how to retain water. So that was interesting for me. And now, number 5, very controversial opinion. In Europe, when men are walking on the street and they suddenly feel the urge to ease themselves, to pee, basically, they try to find a spot where...
Wow, that's good news. I call it testimony, to be very honest, because we in Nigeria, sometimes, like they said, a king is not recognized in their own community or in their own home. We at home back here, we always feel like, oh, things are not working, it's not going smoothly, it's not going the way it's supposed to go and all of that. But this is a foreigner coming to say, these are the things I noticed here in Nigeria that are very, very good, and I love it. When she said she was turned on how she barely falls sick, wow, that's good. Meanwhile, sometimes will tell you, every minute I fall sick, malaria and all of that, although she warned about malaria. But she said her seasonal flu that she used to have back there in Europe, she realized that she doesn't have it again. And, apart from malaria, which she warned other foreigners to be very careful, and that we can actually work on. So please, everyone, be careful. Let's try to work, on that aspect. She also added that she finds the behavior of plants during the dry season surprising. According to her, grass and plants remain green for long periods, unlike Europe, where everything turns yellow quickly once the weather becomes dry. Wow, that's a good one. Honestly, I'm really, really proud of this particular video. I'm happy. It's a good one for Nigerians. Well, let's take a quickly look at some comments before we wrap up for today. And the first one again is coming from Fikuna Demi again, and he says Nigerian fintech is years ahead of Europe. Transfers an instant, and borrowing airtime stroke data is a genius everyday fix. Health and green plants in dry season also makes sense. Warmer climate means fewer colds, and tropical grasses stays green longer. The public peeing thing is real. Sadly common in Lagos, especially where toilets are scarce and some guys just don't care. It's gross and one of the ugliest habits here. So this is a war where we win some and lose some. Period. And that's it. You cannot be 100% perfect. The next one is coming from Half Babe, and Half Babe says, why borrow data when you can simply step out and there are free Wi-Fi on the streets in most foreign countries? Please, Half Babe, calm down. They just said some good things about us. Okay, so let's capitalize on that. All right, the last comment from today is coming from Ninja Woman. And Nigeria Woman says, yep, Nigerian banking system is way ahead of the world. And that pain in your face thingy, yeah, sis, it's cringe. But they don't care. And that's one of the reasons places get stinky pretty much. Welcome to Nigeria. All right, welcome to Nigeria indeed. But the good thing we are going to take home today is that there are good things about Nigeria, especially our banking system, including the fintech system. All right, that's all pretty much we have for today on Social Buzz Extra. We hope you followed the trend, and also if you're just joining us, you know what to do. Just run off to YouTube and follow at Global TV NG. Subscribe and also watch whatever it is you need to watch, including up-to-date news and a Social Buzz Extra. All right, till I come your way next time, please stay with us as other programs will come up. Bye for now.